Oh, yeah, thank Aiden Howard and Sam Fitzpatrick for getting us back underneath. We're having a grilled squirrel later on, and we didn't even cook it. Jeremy Scott, Adam Reed alongside one another, and we are past halfway in this hour-long race. And already we have some drivers who have decided that they were going to answer the call to the pits with John Eagle Johnsberg, the first one to come into the pit, and actually Sander Daniels, I should say, with a 10.27. So now we know about the time, how long each pit stop is going to be.
Yeah, indeed. I think we're just building up to the grand crescendo. Yeah, it's called the crescendo, isn't it? Yeah. We've also had our cars back, so a couple of drivers have retired from the race, but we do still have 29 left in the lobby. So thank you very much to Aidan for bringing them back, and now we're starting to see that lead battle once again starting to form up here. Again, there's going to be a couple of ins and outs here, but it looks like we're still seeing that kind of top 5, maybe top 4 being involved in all of this. Fastest lap has now been changing hands here. Silva Asvestas Sandvik with a 131.526. That's with the fuel continuing to burn down. The kind of the car getting lighter and lighter, so it's getting easier and easier to throw the cars in. It also does mean that it is starting to get a little bit more on the limit here. This is going to start getting quite interesting here because Anders Meyer is now going to try and get something here. They now close up on towards turn number 1. I think that might be Nikolai Mjelder just sitting on the inside, and that's going to be a lapped car. My apologies on that one. I thought that was going to be multiple cars involved on this one. They head their way through turn number 2. Meyer, Agard, Mjelder, still the battle going on, but it is now, as I say, starting to heat up now. The fuel management has been brilliant by these guys, and I think they're just trying to wait for that, maybe that 40-minute mark to be able to then go all out for the rest of the race.
Well, of course, it doesn't help when half the cars, especially in the lead pack, are all the base livery, as we see Herzog going to the inside of Halstead. They're going to rub on each other going through turn 2 as Hollingstad is going to have that advantage. As the Herzog's going to have that advantage. Brockstad going to fall back just a little bit with Sani sitting there as well. So Sani is the interested spectator with Hollingstad, Herzog, and Brockstad all within this battle going through the first sector down through the downhill portion. You see Herzog with a little bit of a bounce, and that's what I love about touring cars. You know, the way that they're set up, they can easily bounce, and that's going to give Brockstad a chance to look to the inside. He's going to be on the wrong side of the circuit, and going through the S is not a place that I would go, but Brockstad wants to get one higher through that top 15.
Yeah, indeed. He's just trying to look for the best way through that sequence of corners, really trying to off-put the car in front. That's really a really important sequence of corners. If you're off by, half a car width, or maybe even a quarter of a car width, that's going to affect you throughout the whole entire sequence of that chicane, and that's going to really put you in a big vulnerable place here. And again, we're just seeing if Brackstad can try and fit that car on his way through. A couple of cars that I've noticed have actually been a little bit wide on that entry, that final entry point, and then just trying to get a launch here. But there you can see Mjelder, we've just been speaking about his weakness through turn number 3, and it's really come to light because, again, look how much Agard has managed to close up, and I wonder if that's going to be where the move is going to be made. If Nikolai Mjelder does not find a bit of confidence through turn number 3 and 4, he's definitely going to have the move made there if someone does maybe make that overtake with I believe, a lap to go.
Mira also could pounce there if those two decide to make contact in those wherever they decide to make, because Beadley, he's very aggressive, and all he wants to do is he wants to stay in the lead. But as we mentioned, that turn 3 has been his Achilles heel these past several laps. Stay tuned. Let's see what happens with these drivers. They work their way through the couple of crowds. Oh, Agard with a slowdown penalty. That is going to be huge for his defense over Anders Mira. So he's going to back up Mira just a little bit as we watch the cars come down the front straightaway once again. And Mira might want to pop out soon because Agard has to take that penalty, and he has to take it really shortly, or else he's going to have to answer to the pits earlier than he really wanted to. And yeah, there it is. So Agard goes high, lets Mira by. He's going to let Roseth by, although he's going to be able to get back on the gas. He's going to lose 2, 3, maybe even 4 spots. Yeah, he indeed does. Falls all the way back to the tail end of this lead pack. Shuffles in front of Arneson, who has to get on the binders a little bit.
I think he tried to cheat it. Yeah, it shouldn't have worked there for Agard. That's going to be really, really horrible. And look, he's gone wide. He's gone off the second. He's having to serve another slowdown. This is all starting to crumble like a custard, like an apple pie for Nikolai Agard, the driver who's been so competitive. Now is really switched up the race here. Here is Steiner Sani, who is at one point had gone down the least, gone down the most places from his starting position. He's at -6 currently. That crown is now being handed over by, I believe, Oliver Charlie Standard. Oh, we've had a bit of contact, I believe. This is a replay we're looking at. Again, Sani involved, side by side through this left-hander and in towards the braking zone. There's going to be a little bit of brushing there. That's about it.
That wasn't much. That's just racing here in touring cars. Come on. Oh, well, all right. Well, that's why AI is not the best for everything. But Sani trying to get around Herzog once again. And, of course, also you see Brockstad and Hollingstad still nose to tail for position. That's for 13th right there. Oh, I got to say this. Brockstad with a little bit of better exit there off the corner. So we'll see if he has anything for Hollingstad or if anybody's going to pit. Now we're in the window where I think we're going to start to see some drivers come in and answer the call for the pit again. I would anticipate, not sure the delta, but it will be a 10-second pit stop. That's weird. What did Danielson pit? Either way, I think it's going to be somewhere in the frame of 15 to 20 seconds. We'll see how that works out. Opus gets a slowdown penalty as well. But the one thing that is kind of shocking, the Agard slowdown penalty has kind of strung out that lead group. It's now half second from Midley to Mira and another 0.7 of a second back to Roseth.
Yeah, indeed, that's where it's going to start getting a little bit spicy in this one. Again, looks like Braxad really trying to pile the pressure, trying to get Hallingstad to look in his mirrors, and I wonder if that's going to be something that may work, it might not work. We'll have to really see how this one all pans out, because this is quite a lowly battle. It's 14th and 15th, with Hallingstad has now got, what gap is that? That's 5.5 seconds to the next car. More personal best P posted here. Hunter's Maya 131.6, Rosef 131.7. So again, starting to really build here, but I think we need Mjelde and Maya to go on a bit of a battle. Let's have a look at the front two here, because I want to see that gap really come down, because that was 6.5 tenths in towards turn number 3. Is Maya struggling through turn number 3? I wonder. He's going to start gaining it again. I think he's losing a little bit of time, so I wonder if he's going maybe too deep compared to Nikolai Mjelde and all of this one. So I think Agard just really had the advantage through that sequence of corners, or it might be that that's where their spot for fuel saving is. It's a real question, because we haven't been able to ride on board with any of these drivers or listen to any of their audio, so we can't really give you a full picture on that part.
The red car up ahead is 24th place Oyvind Anderson. So we'll see if Anderson is going to play a part here in this lead battle, or if Midley and Mira decide that they are going to come into the pits. We have a couple of corners to figure that out. Livingston with another slowdown penalty. Agard with his 3rd slowdown penalty. So this race just goes from bad to worse for your pole sitter, as he now will lose at least one more spot, I would assume, as, oh, look at that. Midley catches the car, your lap down car in the opportune spot. Roseth also gets a slowdown penalty, but Midley runs his fastest lap, and I think it is the fastest lap of the race. It is 31.511. Mira uses the lap car as a block from Roseth, but Roseth still has to answer that slowdown penalty. So Avestad and Gabrielson will indeed make that pass.
Yeah, indeed, traffic getting a little bit troublesome in that one. Rota's just trying to finish off his slowdown. So these slowdowns are really kind of messing away with the field, I'd say, because yeah, it does seem like right there and then, you're not quite at, well, look at this. Oh, wow, this is going to get pretty tight here. 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, all involved in this one. Brackstad trying to find a way through. Hallingstad now sitting on the outside like a sitting duck. And it looks like Sergug and Sani are now going to try and power on through. Stubble Slipstream is going to be a 2x2 here. And down towards turn number 3. Look at Sani trying to push what seems to be Hersug forward. And that all black there. Hallingstad has now just dropped 3 places like an egg being dropped on the floor at your Christmas party. How unfortunate would that be? Nikolai Mielda, slow down penalty. He's just served that in front of Anders Meyer. So Meyer, a little bit unlucky not to try and take advantage of that one. But yeah, these are being the absolute deciders in this one-off race.
Yeah, that is just a shame for Mira, as he's not able to capitalize on that. And yet another lap goes by, and they have not pitted yet. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is just going to be a race to the pits and who's going to get there. We're seeing more and more slowdown penalties come into play, with the drivers getting just a little bit more aggressive, and the tires, they've got to be starting to go away as well. Near the end of this race, we've run 3/4 of a race. Here's on board with Hallingstad, finally able to get some onboard footage, Adam, and it's interesting to see how these drivers are handling this technical circuit.
Yeah, it's been quite interesting to see how they all kind of cope around this one. And you see what I mean? Really just trying to cut the inside line. I mentioned in qualifying that sometimes the driver will try and just cut the circuit as much as they can. You saw that going in towards turn number 2. The car was half off the track there for one of our drivers. As here is Stein Sani now looking to really try and push their way in towards 3 and in towards 4. He's now trying to find a way past Hersug. Again, there's not a lot of opportunities to try and do that. It's all about momentum in this car as he climbs up the hill in toward the left-hander. He's not going to find a move opportunity in here as it slowly makes its way into a tight left-hander before then just following through single file back in towards a downhill section into a right-hander. Again, not very good on that part, just not quite there for overtake. You could, but it'll be very, very risky. Nikolai Mielda 31.5. Yeah, just double check. I didn't want it to be a 130 and call out a 31, so I wanted to kind of double check the numbers on that one. But yeah, we're really cruising on towards these final 14 minutes left of this one.
Melee with another fast lap of the race, as you mentioned, and Miura falling back just a little bit. And one has to wonder, is he trying to hold on to whatever equipment he has left, as Sani all over the back of Herzog going into turn number 1. Herzog a little bit later on the brakes than Sani, but that jump over the curbing did not help him too much, as Sani was able to close in the all-black number 78. And if I'm Brockstad, I'm loving this side here of these two drivers, nose to tail. Look at how close. You can all see the read out the GR logo right there, but Sani not able to close in on those brakes just yet, as Herzog opens up about a 1 to 2 car length gap through the corner. This is just it's interesting to see Sani, who has gained 1 position from his lowest at 16th, not able to capitalize now in the 985.
Yeah, I think that's again something he's a little bit struggling with. Again, it looks like Eric Rosas now still the fastest lap, 131.399. So, again, it does make a little bit of an intriguing view of how they all compare. And so, if I kind of compare Mielta to Rosas' fastest lap, again, that's 0.2 of a second. It's not much, but yeah, Rosas is now starting to gain a little bit. There's a big moment there, Sani off the road, but he slides on through 14th. And I was having a look at the timing screens, and unfortunately, I just didn't quite catch the beginning of it. I just saw a side with black Toyota 886, and it looks like he's gone past Herzog, and we'll have to see how this all pans out here. This is Emiliano Herzog down in towards the left-hander. Looks like Sani goes a little bit deep. Was this all a bit too wide? Too wide there from Herzog, and then I don't think Sani catch onto it to the last moment. And unfortunately, contact between the two, and I wonder if that's going to be Sani having to let back through Herzog on that part. Still hasn't been done, but yeah, not the way you want to be making a move on that part.
Well, I think that was Herzog just losing it on the exit of the corner and then just trying to shut the door on Sani, and Sani was just right there. So we'll see. There might be a post-race penalty. We'll see what happens as Brandeseg trying to hold off, as Ofus trying to hold off Brandeseg, as Brandeseg tried to make a move there through the S's, and that is not a good place to try and make any sort of move, as it's just single file trying to get through. But Brandeseg all over the mirrors of Ofus for that 17th spot. Why not try and get one more, and that way you can really make yourself block from any sort of possible leader coming around in and putting you a lap down. But we have 22 cars on the lead lap thus far in this race.
It looks like there's going to be a replay here, and this is going to be Sigmund Overing. So we're getting a little bit of camera work, TV viewing for the drivers, and this for 19th place it seemed like, and that's a good move there from Sigmund Overing for the Team Vikings team. He's just passed Vegard Olsen Lia for Sim Racing Norway team. So again, he's now gone up 5 from his starting position. We now look back to the live action here, less than 10 minutes ago here at Rudskogen, and again, looks like Rainer Brandeseg is still trying to make his way through a couple of cars here. He's involved in a decent battle here. What seemingly is for 15th here, but a couple of back markers not being helpful whatsoever. Ofus as well, just in front. He has his way in toward the corner. The 14 goes wide. Is there going to be contact between the two? No, there isn't. Brandeseg straight on through. Decent move. Time that to pretty much perfection. It was smart driving there for Brandeseg, and not trying to follow off Ofus. We'll have to look back at this one. This is Hallingstad. He made a bit of a move somewhere.
Yeah, it's going to be down the front straightaway. Goes for the 2, tries to attempt the 2-for-1 special, but not going to make it happen. And oh, that's a nice little shutdown move through there. So great battle for Pete. 15 as Hallingstad gets around Herzog and Brandeseg, but so Tommy Vettel with the slowdown penalty. Ofus had the slowdown penalty, so that's how Ofus lost that position over Brandeseg. Arneson now gets a slowdown penalty, and now we're getting to the point in the race, Adam, where these slowdown penalties, they're going to cause more consequences than they did maybe 20-30 minutes ago.
Oh, they're really going to be quite a bit faster. Again, that mandatory pit stop, I think that may need to be checked, because you know, we're 51 minutes into the race. Barely anyone has made a pit stop, and I believe that a lot of them may have been for damage as well. So we now see Emiliano Herzog. That is going to be a slow down penalty, but they're moving very, very slowly. And I think he's going to try and continue on, but down to 18th is not where you want to be finding yourself. That's going to be a little bit unfortunate for the driver with 1.9k iRacing.
Still breaking away, Miedle, Mira, and Avestad. Although Mira trying to hold off Avestad and Gabrielson for the bottom steps of the podium, as Miedle gets another fastest lap of the race with a 31.399. So Miedle, whatever, if he's had his Wheaties today, he's really showing up quite well. 1.2 seconds separates Miedle from Mira, but Gabrielson going to look to the inside. Avestad going downhill, and Miedle going to have to deal with some lap traffic here in just a little bit, and I believe that's going to be Melee in the 21st spot, who could go one lap down. And yeah, right there, that's the Melee, the first car that you see in the picture. And now I think that gap is slowing down. Nope, that's Melee just letting people by. And yeah, once again, the stock livery catches us all out again.
Yep, unfortunately that's been kind of the theme of the day here at Rudskogen. Again, it's been quite intriguing because again, I wonder, we've unfortunately here had a couple of technical issues, but yeah, I think another one to think about is the mandatory pit stop, because I have not seen anyone make a mandatory pit stop. Nobody has. I think there's only the highest driver who made a mandatory stop, as far as my time screen is aware, is Sander Danielson in 23rd place. And I don't remember him having damage whatsoever. So, again, it's maybe something to kind of take into consideration. Here's Silver Asped Sandvik, again, having a look there at Anders Meyer, because there's now a free-for-all of this part. Nikolai Mielder is going to set the fastest lap last time around, and he now is dashing off into the distance. 131.93 sorry, 131.399 with the lap set by Mielden. Look how close they're going here, Jeremy.
So close as Sandvik looks at the inside of Mira. They're side by side, and Sandvik's going to have the line. Mira's going to try and shut the door, and indeed he's going to. So still, Mira's going to have the advantage in that left-hander, but not for long, as Sandvik is on that right rear. And here comes Gabrielson as well. So it's going to be a three-car battle for second place quickly, and that's going to give Melee a chance to open up and have another second with everybody dancing with one another. This is only going to end in tears, because these three drivers are going tooth and nail with just north of 5 minutes left to go. Gabrielson to the inside of Avestad. Avestad has that position for now, and it's given Roseth a chance to close in. So that three-car battle for a second now becomes a four-car battle, as it's now a 2.5 second gap between Melee and Mira.
Indeed, that's going to be almost uncatchable at this rate with less than 5 minutes to go. And that's the thing, I don't expect anyone to be making a pit stop at this rate. So I wonder if I'm sorry. Unfortunately, we've been lied to in all of this kind of progress. Meanwhile, Leander Gabrielson again having a look up the inside, and now they're inviting Eric Roseth into the battle. This is for second, third, fourth. And fifth, I believe, wide moment from one of the cars. It seems like from, again, I think that might have been Agard. No, it was Advesta Standvik, unfortunately, moving downwards. They head their way towards turn number 3 and 4. It's starting to get a little bit sketchy in towards this section. Meyer having to play the defensive role, but Gabrielson, who's been so competitive and so on course for a podium here, could he finally get his reward with a bronze at the end of it?
Yeah, either there is a mandatory pit stop and they'll have to take some sort of time penalty, and all the drivers just like, you know what, let's just take the penalty, or it was a quote-unquote mandatory pit stop. So doing quick math, it should be 3 laps to go by the time Midla crosses the line. Might be 2 laps to go. We'll see what timing and scoring has to play. But Mira, Gabrielson, Roseth, and Sandvik, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Agard has fallen back to 6, about 2 seconds behind this. So if these guys decide that they want to go further into some sort of assault, it's going to give Agard a chance to catch up once again. Anderson with a meatball flag. Opus with another slowdown penalty. Same with Olsen Lias. Yeah, well, about 3 laps to go as this race continues on.
Just being told that yeah, it's a 60-minute race with limited fuel, so that's all have to pit once. So I'm pretty sure that translates to, yes, they have to pit at least once, but you know, everyone seems to be ignoring it. As here comes Gabrielson. He's going to try potentially up the inside of turn number 3 and in towards 4. Will he try and maybe off-put Anders Meyer? He tried to get Meyer to be looking in his mirrors after all of this, and he's being able to do that. I think Meyer is really having to look at where Gabrielson might have placed the car next, because he's really now setting up for the final minute. Yeah, of course, this is a time-based race, so they're going to have to be right on the limit of this one, and I don't think any of us have calculated kind of where this is going to be ending here. Meanwhile, we look with Advesta Sandvik in towards the next hairpin section. He's just sitting right there on the edge of what could be a podium, but he's going to have to have a little bit of a spectacular moment for it to come true.
2 laps to go. This time buys. We have 2 less than 2 minutes with a minute and a half lap time. Yeah, they will definitely have 2 laps to go, so they'll have some change left over once the field works their way around. And here comes Gabrielson looking to the inside of Mira for second place. Mira will concede the spot for the time being, and indeed he will concede the spot as Roseth is knocking out of the door of third place as well, but Gabrielson goes just a little bit wide. That opens the door up for Mira. That's exactly what he wanted to see, as now they're side by side going into the right-hander, coming off the straightaway. Roseth can't decide who he's going to draft with, so he's going to draft off of Gabrielson, and he's going to lose that battle, but he's going to put a nose to the inside of Gabrielson as well. So Gabrielson will lose second place, lose third place, and he may lose fourth place as Avestad is sitting there in the draft.
Yeah, really good stuff there. That was a really top racing there. Who's that coming on to the track? That's the 226. That's all the way back down. That might be Olsen Leah. Just trying to come back onto the track, but this is now starting to get a little bit sketchy here. Myers now going to start to just romp off down the road in toward the hairpin nail here. Gabrielson still holding on to that podium from Atvestad, and Roseth still just in behind as well. This is starting to get pretty spicy as well. Roseth now with a slowdown penalty. How costly will that be towards his race? We now enter the final 30 seconds of this one. It's starting to get all sorts of spicy.
Not sure what kind of spice you like, but still, look at one of the cars going. Well, I think that's going to be one of the lap down cars the Mira will draft off of. This is the final lap, so anything can happen as Meadley crosses the line almost 4 seconds up. So in the past couple of laps, he has gained several seconds on his competitors as Meadley he's out of contention right now of this view as Mira, Gabrielson, and Avestad second, third, and fourth still to play. Roseth has fallen back into the Agard Arneson Vettel train. Actually, I should say that is not that train, but regardless, they've fallen back just a little bit. Just goes to show how big of a gap everything is in touring cars when you do fall off. Mira 4 seconds behind, but he's holding off a fast-charging Gabrielson and Avestad. There's Mila working his way through the S's for the final time at speed, as Mila has the fastest lap of the race with a 31.4. 31.4 is his best lap, but I'll tell you what, since he's gotten the lead, he has opened up that gap considerably. He's now 4 seconds ahead of Mira and Gabrielson. One has to wonder if how much fuel, I should say, that these drivers have as they work their way through the final couple of corners. It's been Nikolai Midla's race. We're all just living in it. Through the final corner, the long right-handed sleeper, Mira gets a slowdown penalty. He'll lose second place for the time being, but it's all Nikolai Midla, your winner here in the fun race, and Gabrielson and Avestad get around the slowing Mira to round out your podium. Oh, yeah, big problem with...
that's going to be right at the end there. Meanwhile, we have a look here at Tommy Wiedel, who was sitting ninth for quite a while of this race. He has now put himself up into a fantastic seventh after a big old battle right at the end there with William Arneson, who he's managed to get past in the final couple of moments. Fantastic result there for Wiedel. Arneson in 8th. It'll be looking like it'll be Simon Andre Livingston. 9th is the winner, right? I don't know. I don't make the rules here. They do. But top 10 will be rounded out by Hendrik Strand for the Beta Frost team. And well, that was one cheerful, fantastic Christmas kind of get together for everyone here at Norway. Emilio Hersug will now round off this kind of little battle here, battling away with looks like Hallingsad, who haven't had the best of races. Neither of them can say that, but they'll have a drag race to the line, but it'll be pretty close on that part, but it will just be ended off and rounded off by I think 11 thousandths of a second.
As some cars, the drivers deciding, you know what, race is over, I can junk it. Not a big deal, as cars just come across the line for the final time in this hour-long race. Sigmund Overing finishes off in the 19th position, and that should round out our field. Well, we thought we'd see pit stops. Thought it'd make life interesting, but in the end, it's still all Nikolai Miele, your winner, followed by Leander Gabrielson and Syver Avestad. Anders Mira Mira. A late slowdown penalty ends his hopes at a podium. He finished off in 4th. Nikolai Aagaard 5th. Eric Roseth, Tommy Vettel, William Arneson, Seaman, Andre Livingston, and Henrik Strand round out your top 10. Kim Andre Bjorklund sits in 11th. 12th goes to Samuel Brockstad. 13th, Alexander Toftum Scarrett. In 14th, it's Steiner Sani. Did he gain? Yeah, he gained at least one more spot from his earlier position. Then rounding out your top 15, Adam, it's Rainier Bronseg.
Indeed, let's have a look through from Bronseg. We go into, or first was Hallingstad with Hersug, Sigmund Overset, and then Torborn Marla. The top 20 is complete there. Vegard Olsen Lia, Oliver Stramdem, and Sander Danielson, Stian Loksen, and then lap down there for Odvin Anderson. 2 laps down for both Kenneth Palstrud and Jan Egel Jansberg. And 26 laps down, I don't think they had even a start. Joachim Rovde, then Liam Storkerson, Tobias Jinstad, and Ovind Haugland just rounding off the grid. So a couple of DNFs throughout this one, 4 DNFs to be exact. On that part, so we ended up with 27 right at the end, which wasn't too bad whatsoever for the RacingLab Christmas race, which I'm sure everyone is going to be absolutely having a chuckle about in their own little Discord, I can imagine, after the exciting races we had here at Rudskogen. I think we're going to look to see if we can get an interview in here, but it doesn't look like anyone is going to be joining us this time around.
Well, that's a shame, but regardless, what a fantastic race that we saw throughout the middle of the pack. Adam, any final thoughts?
Nothing from me apart from great entertainment and wishing everyone at RacingLab and any of our viewers here a happy Christmas and a happy New Year as well.
Yep, it is that time of year where we've got all the holidays happening at once, and we're in that week where you don't know what day it is, where we're at, and what we're going to do. So on behalf of Aiden Howard in the truck, thank you for patching everything together. I know it's kind of tough getting stuff already on the fly. My partner, Adam Reed, I'm Jeremy Scott. Remember to keep it pointed forward, keep it between the ditches, and always keep it greasy side down. Happy holidays, happy New Year, Merry Christmas. We'll see you next time here on Apex Racing TV.